Let me start this off. Who are you?
I don't know.
Turning the tables on you.
I'm Robert Scoble.
And Robert, what do you do?
I'm a geek.
You're a geek.
I'm a geek.
So we're here on the Photowalk that Dell and Google Plus put together.
Yeah.
And what are some of your quick reflections of walking around Austin this morning?
No, it's fun. It's good networking. There's a lot of geeks out here shooting pictures, you know, with their Canon 5Ds or Nikons.
And what kind of camera do you have?
I have a 5D Mark II.
5D Mark II?
Yeah, so I work at Rackspace. The real answer is I work at Rackspace as a chief learning officer. So I go around the world and interview tech executives and understand the future.
In the future. And
Understand the future.
And so let's talk about Rackspace for a second. What's the future for Rackspace?
More servers.
More servers?
More servers.
More servers, more services?
The customers are demanding more servers. And seriously, cloud is taking, I mean, it's overhyped, but man, hundreds of thousands of customers just showing up. Because the world is demanding more interesting stuff for your iPhones, your Android phones, or your businesses, running your businesses. And you're not going to build your own data centers anymore. You're just going to slide your credit card and on your iPad, pop open 5 new servers and build some infrastructure and then write an app on that. You know.
Boom, you're done.
Boom, you got a new business, you know,
you
or
cover
a new website or a new service for your employees.
You cover a lot of startups. Is the future apps?
The future is what I call the game of games, which takes a lot longer than we have to explain. But it's if you look at what Facebook and Google Plus are doing, they're building identity systems, and these companies used to be thought of as content companies, but they're really identity systems. And Google has always seen itself as an intent satisfaction engine. In other words, I have an intent. I want to eat some barbecue in Austin. You stick that in your Google search engine and it says where you should go.
That's right.
It's an intent satisfaction engine. Well, if I know everybody and everything in the world, I can create a better intent satisfaction engine. So if I know everything about you, your religion, your politics, your family, your hobbies, what sports team you're into, what music you like, and on, and boy, that sounds a lot like Facebook.
Yeah, no,
It sure does.
Then I can tell you even better what barbecue place to go to, because I can match your identity to people, things, and content in the world, and make your life better. Right?
Well, and you talk about that being an identity service. Obviously, Google's trying to brand themselves like that, which leads into the whole real names issue. You've dived into that a little bit. I've seen you kind of play both sides on that a little bit. I think you see the benefit of real names, but you also see the benefit of folks that may not necessarily be recognized by a real name.
There's ways to solve that with technology, right? I think because these companies are going to study your identity in such a complete way, you need to be able to control who sees stuff from you. Facebook's moving toward this, right? It used to be Facebook's privacy was set by account. So Robert Scoble is public, Miriam Scoble is private. Now it's by the post. When you post something, you decide where it goes. And Google Circles is a good example of that, right? When I publish something, does it go to my work circle? Or does it go to the public? Does it go to my family? Does it go to my photography circle? Does it go to my geek circle? You know, and so it's by post now that we decide what you're going to see about us.
Who's going to see what content, right?
We're going to see what content. And if you look at Quora, Quora forces real names too, but you can decide by post whether to expose that name. So on one post I might be Robert Scoble, on another I'm just anonymous. You know, if I'm talking about porn, I don't want to tell everybody Robert Scoble's an authority on porn, right? So I'll use anonymous, and that way it doesn't get me in trouble at work or with my family or whatever. Right?
Do you think Google should move toward something a little bit more flexible like that?
Oh yeah, and they will.
Yeah.
They will. Because it's so obvious, right? Quora has a better answer, they're better technology. But Google's just in a deep hole with these platform level decisions that they have a lot of work. Right now, there's not inbound filtering. Facebook has inbound filtering, you know. I call it noise control. So if I don't want to see cat photos, I can sort of get rid of them in some way over on Google Plus, over on Facebook, and on Google Plus there's no way to get rid of them yet. So Yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Vic Condotre at Google said this is he has 400 features that he has in his database to build, and he has a 35-month plan. So that's sort of, we're just in the early, like the second chapter out of a 10-chapter book.
Right.
Or a 35-chapter book. You know, it's like,
yeah, it's early on. A lot of people are really kind of gravitated toward the controversy, and I kind of get the sense to jump the gun a little bit and see how things evolve.
Yeah, we like fighting.
That's
it's like
it makes social media interesting.
So it's social media is about storytelling, about creating an identity for yourself. You know, it's about communicating to people what's important to you, right? And so some people think it's really important to be like a little private. I'm not one of those people, right? So
you're not a little bit private.
No, but you know, and I think more people are going. But I do see where by post, like if I'm sending my boss something, you know, about the business, I don't want that in the public. It's by post. Push it by post where it goes, where it needs to go. So here's the Photowalk.
That's great.
There's Thomas Hawk.
Thomas.
Hey.
Say hello, Thomas.
Hey, man. There we go.
Very good.
Did you take a shortcut or did you go the wrong way?
No, I'm lazy.
Shortcut.
All right, Robert, we'll wrap this up. Thank you very much.
Man. Scobleizer.
All right, you do an interview with the Scobleizer?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
You got something to add, Thomas?
Innovation
you know.
is laziness brings.
How'd the photo walk go?
Photowalk went great. All I would say with in my sites that I follow, I just wait until Robert mentions it like 20 times. And like on the 20th time,
Then
when
it's
he says,
real.
This is cool, this is cool, this is cool. Then on the 20th time, which for Robert usually it's like 2 days after they come out. It's hot.
So one of the 5 UIs of this new identity world is notifications. What if on your notifications bar it said Robert Scoble has mentioned this country 28 times now?
Yeah.
It's time to jump in.
So we can make these kind of tools.
Yeah.
No, I think the first time I heard of Twitter was with Robert. First time I heard of friend feed was with Robert.
This is why I talked to a bunch of VCs yesterday. I said, you guys are all verb dealers. This is the new.
That's so cool.
This is where the new value is getting us all addicted, getting us to give some sort of new kind of data to the system, like that, right? That's a new kind of data that nobody thought of studying before. Somebody will build a little company to study how many times does the company get mentioned by the clout score 80 or more, you know, and then they'll build a little verb and sell that off to Google. It'll show up in your notification feed. The clout score 80 guys are mentioning this app 20 times or more. Yeah.
But they'll do their own cloud score though, right? They don't need cloud, right?
We're talking with clouds. We like them.
Yeah. Well, certainly they want that API, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Well,
API
Cloud has some advantages. Google's doing their own internal scores, I'm sure. And I would actually study, if I was at Google, I would build 2 new scores, right? One's a transactional score. For instance, one of the best things I ever did at the camera store I used to manage was buy a semi-truck trailer of diapers.
Why?
Because people buy cameras to take pictures of their kids, you give them a free
Right.
diapers.
They become, when you say my wife is pregnant or I'm pregnant, you've become far more transactional than you were yesterday.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Your transactional score goes up.
Right.
And I bet that is fucking crack for Google, because Google wants to put ads when you're transactional, you know, and we all are telling each other when we're transactional. We're coming. I'm going to the web, right? On Plancast, I told I'm going to the web. That signals to the world I'm about to spend $10,000.
Right.
Because I'm going to take a flight there. I'm going to need a hotel. I might buy a new camera to go there, right? And
I've almost got Chris sold on a new
I'm
14
gonna go-
millimeter
Yeah,
lens.
he's getting there.
Almost.
your
It's
transactional
working
score is
on
going
it.
up.
Yeah.
So how
Almost.
Well, how could Google see that conversation and know that his transactional score is going
Well,
up?
in this case, that's not difficult.
Right.
Did you
Right.
convince him?
But from the outside.
He's getting me.
And that's where the value
We're
is.
gonna
So
give him the
if
14.
somebody can study our transactionality, there's a score. And then your real name thing was interesting. You should have a reality score.
A reality score.
A reality score.
Keeping
So
it
like,
real?
well, because other people could inform the system how real Thomas Hawk is.
Right.
Right.
See, I knew that was going to come out.
Yeah.
Here in
Yeah.
the conversation.
And so,
Get everybody to
so
reach
like,
out for Thomas.
so like when I go through my list of 5,000 people, lots of.
But it's kind of the people in common thing as well, right? That's a big reality score.
But the reality score would go up. For instance, I have a folder people I can't categorize. or a circle.
Right.
I look at their bio and I look at their items and they're interesting, but they're not categorizable. I just haven't found a circle that I want to put them in.
Plus, they haven't filled out their about information.
Well,
properly.
that's even worse, right?
Yeah, that
so
is worse.
that goes into the reality score.
Yeah.
So one, do you have a real picture that people say, I know this person is real, and can I vote on it and say this guy's real or not?
Isn't when they tag you in the photo though? Isn't that kind of a vote?
Well, that's actually
Right.
a good question.
That's a-
Right.
That's a great.
Right.
That's a great point.
They're not
No,
not
but,
yet.
but,
Well, not
but
yet.
your reality score would go up as you're tagged in
Yeah.
photos.
Yeah, the more
That'd
tags
be
you
a big
have.
one.
Right?
Yeah.
Especially if somebody with a clap score of 60 or more has tagged you, your reality score would go up. And then if you go to a conference, if you speak at a conference, if you're on BBC,
It's a little bit
you're-
like the old days when we're exchanging PGP keys with each other. Can you please sign my
like that
key?
sticker on
Yeah.
the phone.
The whole
Mine's
chain
on
of
video.
trust kind of thing.
But the reality
Nice.
score is interesting. That way you can get rid of the name thing. Call yourself whatever the fuck you want, but it's going to affect your reality score.
We have enough
And-
people vouching for you that you can go by this name online, and your name carries weight.
And that'll, so I believe Google's building people discovery, and so is Facebook, right?
Sure.
The new Facebook lists are really interesting because when you build a list like a venture capitalist and you put 5 people on there, all of a sudden it suggests a whole bunch of venture capitalists. It's like, how the fuck did it do that?
Well, it's got everybody's data. It's got
knows
everybody's
everything about everything.
Oh yeah.
This is why I call this the game of games, because it knows everything about everybody, and when you know everything about everybody,